Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Past to Present, my Infinity lineup. Let's take a look at the brushes we're going to be using in today's video. So they're the brushes we're going to be using. I'm going to talk you through my experiences with them when I sort of picked them up. I'll put some info to the side on the brushes and we're going to paint with all of them, right from past all the way up to present. So let's move in and crack on. Right guys, we're going to be doing a female portrait. I've got a little bit masked out here just to keep the face clean while we drop the bit of the background in. This is application tape. Placed it over the penciled out outline and then just cut it sort of round, left this shape round the hair sort of loose and just kept it sharp round the face here. It'll just keep any overspray while we work this background in. Now the first Infinity that I got going back years and years and years ago, when I sort of first started out, I started out with a H&S Focus and didn't know anything about H&S at the time. The Focus was sort of really worn, so when you look on the Harder and Steenbeck bodies, this is the new one. You have like made in Germany, Harder and Steenbeck, and you get like the serial number that's sort of laser engraved on the side of the body. On my Focus, this was all worn away, so I didn't really know what sort of brush it was or who it was made by, and just used it and got on with it really, really well, and that was a Focus. And then sort of looked upon the internet, found out who it was by, and then the brush that I moved on to was, that I really wanted, was the Infinity. And at the time, going right back then, they were expensive brushes. When you're sort of moving up to a better brush, they were expensive at the time, going way back. And the first one I got is this one here. I've still got the body. This is my original Infinity body, which isn't the CR Plus. I mean, it's still in really good condition. What we've got, it's worn away here on the chrome where you hold it, and inside it's worn. And that was my first Infinity, it was this one. And then years later, I brought another one, which was this one, and I brought the CR Plus body and just put my other pieces from my old one onto it and just sort of made it up with the new CR Plus body. And this is the one I've still got now. This is going back some years as well, because I've got the original pieces on it. You can see like the air valve piece here, that's worn where you're sort of holding it all the time. But that was my sort of second Infinity, was this one. So we're going to start off with this one. Now I've done some changes to this. I've put a different trigger top on it, which is flat and sort of round. Changed it over. 015 in this, and it's got the V2 needle, I do believe, with the original brass nozzle. So we've got a lot of exposure of needle out the front on this. It really is sort of a lot sticking out. And I've done the little hack on this. If you've seen on the channel where you put the little washer in, it takes a little bit of the slack out the back. Just sort of tightens it up, because everyone was sort of going on about the older H&S's had delay. Now, a lot of the time, I think you find delay on the older H&S's is when you put real thick paint through them. I noticed a big change in spraying with them when I started using inks, really thin inks. They just had no delay at all. You just touch the trigger and it was just coming out. I mean, this thing gets ridiculously down on detail. It really does on the 015. So we'll just drop some of this background in. This is the light mix of the sepia. I've got two mixes of sepia, and this is a light one. So I had this brush for, must have been like 13 years, something around there. This brush, the second sort of CR Plus that I had. And it was my go-to. Everything I painted was with this. always picking up this, and then you sort of move on. I moved on to Iwata because everyone was going on about the custom micron at the time, which was a CMSB, and I sort of moved on to Iwata and put the H&S down, didn't pick it up. My Infinity was like collecting dust, and it was on the shelf, and I was always using the Micron CMSB for painting with. And then it was only sort of 2024 got sort of introduced again to H&S, and the new brush lineup came out, and I think it was then when sort of Warwick sort of moved into H&S and done the changes that he did it, and I think that's what H&S needed. It needed someone in there to have some great ideas for the new brushes, and he brought out the 2024 range, and it just completely changed H&S. I think it really did, because the Infinity was out and there was nothing else new. You had like the Evo, the old Evo, the Grapho was out. You had the side feeds, some of the bottom feed ones, and I think H&S then was sort of a bit stagnant until Warwick came along and brought the new brush lineup out, and it dramatically changed. It really did. It was like, wow, these newer brushes are incredible with the changes which needed to be done, and he did it. He launched the 3 brushes, the Evo, the Ultra and the new Infinity, and I just think there's no looking back, you know. It's like that big change that they needed, and it's worked, it really has. But I still like picking up the old brushes. I mean, this really feels nice, this old one. It's nicely worn in, super good on detail. The air pressure that I'm running, I'm just leaving it on set on the wall. It's 22 psi. I mean, with this thin paint, you don't need any more air pressure than that to get it out of the brush. And none of them will struggle at that with the paint mixes that I've got on this. Background's going to be slightly different to the image. This is the reference image I'm working on. I'm just doing my own sort of background with this. It looks sort of similar. So this is the original, working as it did all them years ago. Just pick it up, put the paint in it, and you're spraying. You've just got confidence in the brush, you really have. If you watched yesterday's video on the Aventus, it was like, oh, it was hard work, you know. And that's what I just want to get across to people, is when you've got a brush at that price point that's come out at 140, and people are just sort of jumping on that brush, and it's the looks, you know. Because you could put this next to it and you'd instantly go for the Aventus, and people will instantly think, oh, that's a better brush, look at it. And it's not. This 13 to 14 year old Infinity will absolutely destroy that Aventus and what it can do. It really will. And I think people are getting sort of drawn in just by the look of it, you know. And it's £140 for the brush, and then more for the sort of box set special edition one. It's just going to cause you aggravation. It really is. This puts the paint where you want it. So that's a bit of background in with my original Great brush, still is, still love picking it up. Did the change to the trigger top where you've got the bar coming up because it was really old. My original dish on the top came loose and it started to spin, so I literally, it pulled out and I got a flat brass top, fitted it in and sort of glued it to it, and that's just a real flat pad on the top, really wide. You can put your finger wherever you like. I just find it really comfortable, really soft this brush is. You'll find with the older H&S's, the springs are different on the internal here. It's a different spring, it's softer. I think the old Infinities are a lot softer than the new one. And I've done a change to my new one. You're going to get to see that a little bit later on. So just give that a little clean. Next, we're going to pick up the Infinity Kyiv. Now this one is fully aluminium. You've got the original Infinity trigger top on this, but aluminium body. Now they brought the Chameleon out, so it's basically the same as the Chameleon. The body is exactly the same. I'm just going to drop some darker tones of this. This one's on a 02, and again, straight in with the paint. It's very light, but again, just performs like I've just picked up my original. It really does. It's just that same performance. Just works really, really well. Let's do some texture type passes here. So very light. You can it just feels like you can move really fast with this brush. Just feels like you've got nothing in your hand. So if you've got a Chameleon and you wonder what the Kyiv's like, they're exactly the same. Performance-wise, weight-wise, same needle and nozzle setup like the 02. You can change, the beauty of the H&S's is you can change the needle and nozzles over so easily. That's why I like these. You can adapt, you can put the 015 in this if you wanted. You could put the 025 titanium on this if you wanted to, you know. You could just put it into it and work with a titanium setup on the front. And that's the beauty of the H&S's. They've kept that changeability through them. They've not released a brush where it's now you've got to buy that specific part for that brush and that brush only. You can change things up like the cups, triggers, everything about it. You can just change things up. It's great. It really is. So that's the Kyiv doing its thing. Give that a little bit of clean. I don't want to leave any paint in these brushes. We'll now move on to, now this one I really do like. Drop it in the screen now. This is the one we're using now. Now this is another 015. Now this is a limited edition one and it's a side feed, so you can see the little tube that comes out the bottom, then you put the cup that tilts to the side on it. What I like about this is you've got full visibility across the top, so you can see everything. And I absolutely love just the way this, I mean, they all spray brilliant, but sitting with this one, I mean, this thing, the 015 is ridiculous on how well it gets down. It really is. It's unreal, especially when you're working with inks. When you work with inks in these brushes, they just come alive. They really do. So we'll move on to some little sort of detail bits in here. I mean, this pupil here is smaller. The actual inside of the eye is smaller than the air cap on this, and you can just get straight in and put the paint where you want it. Now, if I was trying this on yesterday's video with the Aventus, that brush would have been thrown out the studio, I guarantee it, because it would not have done this as accurate as what this brush can do it. It really wouldn't, it would have struggled. And that's what I said in the video yesterday, it's not a brush for this. I really want to see, hopefully they do it, that H&S bring a side feed out. Because the old brushes are good, the new ones are even better. You know, and with what they're doing now with like the new brushes, if they bring a side feed out, it will be incredible. Because you'll get that full visibility, what I like on this. But just to be able to have like the side feed that comes out the side with a small cup, proper full on detail brush with a small cup to the side, it'll be awesome, it really will. So hopefully it'll come out one day. And people were saying about, oh, like the trigger delay. There's no delay in this brush, none, and it's because I'm working thin paint. Really doesn't seem like you've got a cup on this. Now, the cup that's with this kicks this way, which suits me even better, you know. Because I'm a lefty, it's sort of completely out of the way, and it doesn't feel like I've got a cup on there. It really doesn't. I mean, you can back away, I'm probably around 3-4 inches away, and you can just put that paint where you want it. So that's that one. Lovely brush, really, really nice brush. That one. Give that a little clean. So yeah, whatever Infinity you've got, they all, whether they're old or new, if you're thinking about the trigger delay, oh, trigger delay, trust me, switch over to inks, grab yourself some paper and give it a go with some really thinned out inks, and you'll watch the brush come alive. You really will. Instead of trying to chuck thick acrylics through it. I used to work with like thicker acrylics and do everything sort of like thick mixes, because I wasn't sort of using really thin paints then, or doing a lot of stuff on paper. It was like, right, next up, Giraldez. I've put the original body back on. You've probably seen this on the channel where it's got, I put the blue body on. That's the original Giraldez first generation body on the back, and I've changed the trigger over. If you own a Giraldez, the original, trust me when I say put the Evo 2024 trigger in it into that original Giraldez body. It is incredible. It really is. This brush is, this is on a 02. This is my go-to when it comes to, I mean, you can get so fine down with this. The trigger works unbelievable in this body. It really does. Super soft. confidence where you're not concentrating on the trigger. You know exactly that paint's there, and all you're doing is aiming the brush, because you know the movement in that trigger is absolutely on point. So you've not got to stress and worry about what your finger's doing. And them lips are small when you think, right, that's the brush, you know. They're like the eyes. Got loads more dark to go in on these. Sharpening them up. Let's get a tone in on these. So yeah, if you can get hold of the original Giraldez, I mean, we've got the new one coming out, and the new one's going to be even better, because if you watch the video where Warwick was talking through the new one, just with the change of the new air cap being stainless steel, because he was saying when you plate things, when you sort of chrome plate things, especially like the air caps, you get that sort of film build, and it can just slightly change. I mean, you're looking under a microscope to see this, but it can change the air delivery on the front. So they're getting sharper cuts now on the exit and the hole at the end, nice and sharp. So the delivery of air is going to be better. I mean, this is unreal. So what is the new one going to be like? Lovely to work with. Use some shields to sharpen the face up a little bit. So, lovely brush. I'm really looking forward to the new one coming out on the new Giraldez coming out. Just nip out some of these pencil lines, just get them out of the way, because I don't need them. So I mean, I can be working sort of here, like that, dropping a bit over there, sort of doing that, and then just go bam, straight in, straight working back to the eye, or straight up there, you know, broad stroke again. Straight back up to them eyelashes and not worry. It just does it. There is no way I'd have done this yesterday without a Ventus in my hand. I wouldn't have dreamed of doing this portrait, let alone a micro one on a credit card. just wouldn't have happened. So yeah, you can see that I like this brush because I'm not talking much, I'm just sort of getting on with the portrait. But a lovely brush. If you can get hold of one, you'll probably find a lot of these went up on Facebook Marketplace. People getting rid of them, and it's like, no, don't do it. And it was all because of the original trigger. Nobody liked it, you know. Because the artist is putting his mark on it. What he likes is in the trigger, but not everyone's going to like that. So this is the Giraldez on a 02. Getting the job done. We shall move on to, see, I've gone through the brushes already. A little bit of cleaner in that one. That's the Giraldez, lovely brush. Really looking forward to the new one. I mean, if the old one's doing this, the new one, oh, it's going to be even sharper. It really is. Right, now we've got the 2024. Now I've done a change to this. I've not used this for a while, so it might be a little bit. Again, this is light. I think this has got a bent needle as well, very slightly. It has. It's just throwing the spray pattern off slightly, but we'll continue it. It's doing it. Not a drama with this. It's brilliant. Super down again. Now what change I've done to this is I've took the original spring from an Infinity, the one here, and put it in. So on full tension, this feels really soft still. Now a lot of people got put off with this brush. Not a lot. There was a few comments saying the trigger top, oh, it's really, it can feel a little bit uncomfortable, sort of spiky. Now the first thing I did was slacken off the air valve here. When H&S put them together, they have set tolerances where you're in a manufacturing production line and everything gets put together to a certain degree. You wind it in so much. All these set sort of tolerances for out the box airbrushing, you know, which works great. It does work. But you may find it, if you want something a little bit softer, you just have to do these little subtle changes to get it to work for you, you know. Some people find it lovely straight out of the box with the tension that's set up. But I found just pressing down just felt a little bit uncomfortable. Needed it sort of softer. So I just released the spring on the air valve just to make it softer, and then change the spring over in the back to the original, and it's made it just feel a lot better. I think we have got a very slight dink in this needle. At the time, The reason why this needle went, I was doing a class and the student used it, so I would go with it. Yeah, I've definitely done the needle in it. And dropped it. Crown cap off, dropped it, done my needle. So it needs a new needle. It's not performing how it usually does. It's getting it down though. Lovely brush. I've done loads on the channel with this, so if you do want to see it working to its best, I've done loads of stuff with it on the channel. But I think it's made a big difference dropping that original spring in. It's a lot more comfortable. Softer going back. I mean, that's on full tension now and it's soft. Yeah. If I undo it, it's really soft now. And you'll see a change in your trigger response, especially when you use thinner paints. When you dial it in, dial your paints in, you see a big difference on the release of the paint when you get it softened up at the back. I mean, I'm getting it now to where you literally, it doesn't even look like that brush is moving back, look, the trigger, see? See the paint that's coming out of that? And that trigger's not even moving back, it's like you're just touching it down and the paint's there. No delay whatsoever, look at that. And that trigger is not even moving back. That's how I like it. That's the original. I'm going to continue on with another one because the needle is slightly damaged on that. It's a shame. But as I say, there's loads of videos on the channel with the Infinity when I first got it. Micro portraits, big portraits. There's loads of them. If you want to see what it can do, there's loads of videos on all these. Stripping them down. Putting them back together. Swapping stuff over. I've tried it all with them. Get some tone on this. Sharpen that up. Darken this out a bit here. I think when it comes to brushes, the ones that are like, I'd say the best that are out there, you've got H&S, Iwata, Rich Pen, and your old ones, some of the old ones like the original, like Olympus Micron, things like that. Them ones I've just, they're the ones that are the best ones to go for. They really are. My hair is different, but it doesn't matter. No trailing with this brush. Galleria, if you're watching. And this is an old one, you know. I mean, there's a lot of people going, oh, I prefer using the Evo to the new Infinity. Just try what I said by just doing the change up to the spring. Just change the spring over if you've got an older Infinity. Try it and loosen off the air valve in it. It just totally changes it. If you like a real soft feel, you know, it does make a big difference. I think it cut off. You sort of got to a certain bit and it cut off, and the camera reaches a record time and it just stops. And I'm there chatting away, picking brushes up, and yeah. Didn't look round, and then when I did look round, it goes, "You have reached your maximum record limit," and it stops. Then you just got to start it again. But I didn't, so you may have missed a bit. But we used the brushes, and that was it. That's what it's about. It's about. We went back right to the beginning, you know, even showed you the original Infinity body that I've got, and then I sort of got the CR Plus and made the CR Plus up. And you see me put the background down with it and pick it back up a bit later on. It just works. They all work. You know, I've got no issues with the H&S brushes, one bit, you know, because I've started with them way back, you know, and there's other artists that have got the Infinities from way back, and I guarantee you're still enjoying them. If you're not and you're thinking it's trigger delay, honestly, drop some ink in it and thin it right out, and you'll be like, oh my god, this brush is like perfect. And it is. A lot of the time everyone was jumping on the 015 needle and nozzle, which is tiny, and they're chucking thick paints through it, and they're thinning it to a consistency where they're running high pressure above 22 psi, and they're getting spider in, so they don't thin it even more. It's just a case of ink, thin it right down, just bring that pressure down slightly, have a go on some paper, mixed media, you know, we've done a little bit of erasing on it, you can get your erasing techniques on it, works great, and these brushes just come alive, even more so with the 2024 range. They're just incredible. They really are incredible on the atomization, the accuracy that they've got, and the response is just, it's on point, you know, it really is. And the new Giraldez that's coming out with the new stainless steel air cap twinned with the titanium nozzle is just going to be mind-blowingly good, guys. Hopefully we've got one coming out on the channel. I'll do a full breakdown for you. I'll do what I've done with every H&S brush that I get. I'll show you a strip down, rebuild, a maintenance, cleaning it, spraying with it, thin paints, low pressure. I'll just run through the whole spectrum of it again on every sort of brush that I get. I'll always do them sort of breakdown ones, maintenance, so you get to see it. So if you ever do get stuck, you just go and nip over to the channel, and I guarantee that brush will be on the channel. You can just go back, you can look at the maintenance video, a paint consistency video for it, probably a little tweak and an upgrade video for it. They'll all be on there. I do that with every brush that I get. I just have a little play and a tweak and just get it to how I like it when I paint, you know. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Drop your comments on your Infinity if you've got one, whether you've got the 2024 or you've got a real old one, or you might have one of these ones, you know, a chameleon, or you've got the Kyiv. an original, a Giraldez, the side feed that I showed you that's like a limited edition. That is awesome, absolutely love it. And I'm hoping, I really am hoping, that H&S bring out a small cup side feed short front body. It will be awesome, it really will, because I think the side feeds just give you that little bit more visibility. It's like if you use a Micron where you've got the side feed, like the old CMSB, sits down and to the side. You've got the short body, you've got full view, brings you right up. And I think that would be awesome if H&S bring that out. I'd like to see that, and I'd like to see them bring out a proper trigger airbrush. One where you've got a fan adjust, if they can do it. And I know that's the company that will do it, is a miniature spray gun like airbrush size that's got fan adjust instead of just trigger and paint adjust, and you've got your air pressure. If you've got something where you can dial the fan just to do this with the fan pattern, would be awesome on something that goes from like 1/2 inch and opens up to say 2 to 3 inch on a fan pattern. Would be brilliant, because then you've got that feel of a big spray gun but miniature down for doing really cool pieces with, you know. I think that's the sort of thing that's next that we sort of need, because all the trigger airbrushes that are out there, they're all the same, you know. I've got my favourite, but all the other ones, they're the same. They're either walloping the paint down too much, a little bit inconsistent, top and bottom heavy on the fan adjust, and you've got to fiddle around with the air pressure, fiddle around with your paint flow. They're clunky, they're cheap, because a lot of them are the cheap ones, you know, with the glittery party frocks that make them look good. You just want a solid, robust, full chrome that you can just wipe down with thinners if you need to, if you're custom painting, but you've got that nice adjustable little fan for putting in them bits of paint that you need. So they're sort of my things that I'm looking out for, that are just really sort of help. You want these brushes to have in your collection. They're going to help you achieve what you want to do. You know, that's why I always say use all the tools in your box to get the job done. Don't just think I'm starting airbrushing and I have to achieve everything with an airbrush. You don't, you really don't. You can use everything. Everything you've got, every tool you've got, whether it's a piece of rag that you're spraying against to get a texture out of, or cutting something out of a card to get a shape out of, pencils, pens, paintbrushes, ink markers. Use everything, you know. Just use everything to get the job done, and it makes your life a lot easier. It saves you stressing. I mean, I could have gone in on this and gone in with the Caran d'Ache pencils with like a dark brown and dropped the eyelashes in and made them real hair-like, and then done some real fine ones in here. But the only thing I used with the Caran d'Ache was just the white, just to go dot, dot, a little bit there on the earring, just to make it pop out a bit, and then just used an eraser just to knock back some of the ink and pop out some of the highlights, you know. 2 more tools added to get the job done, and that's what you got to do. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Drop me comments on what Infinity you've got, and I'd like to hear on how you've got on with it and how long you've had it, you know. How long have you been airbrushing? Just start dropping that in the comments on, if you are asking for help and things, just sort of give me an indicator of how long are you in. Are you a newbie, intermediate, advanced? And share your comments, and that's what it's about. Share it amongst the community, and we help everybody out, you know. There's a lot of sort of experienced artists that are like, no, I keep it close to my chest, I'm not letting anyone know my secrets. No, just let everybody know. We're not on the planet forever, you know, and the old ones, they're going. A lot of the top quality old airbrush artists, they've gone, they've passed away, you know. So as much info as I can give you that's going to help the next generation out, so be it. And that's why I did YouTube. Create the videos, I put as much out as I can, so when I kick the bucket, hopefully it's still running and people are getting a bit of info and help from it, and that's what it's about. So thanks for watching. See you lot in the next one. Cheers, guys.